I accidentally discovered he had Tinder on his phone. I catfished him with a fake profile and he messaged me. We've been together 20 years and married for 15 years. I don't even know how to approach this with him without crying or screaming. How? Do I tell my husband I know he's active on Tinder and I don't think I trust him anymore? Edit. Thank you for the comments, everyone. So sorry to hear that. I think you should wait and do two things. 1. Let the initial anxiety and shock subside and 2. Collect more information. Stuff like how long he's been on the app, why he's on the app, how often he meets women on there. Can you get this info from using the catfish account? That way you'll be calmer when you confront him, and if he tries to gaslight you and comes up with some terrible excuse for why he's on Tinder, you have some information to call him out on his lies.
Arrange a meeting, otherwise he will lie and say it was just for fun. Let him know when you show up at the hotel.
Ask him if he likes piña coladas and getting dumped in the rain.
LMAO. So, I once dated this guy who redownloaded the dating app we met on, while we were exclusive. I asked him about it, and he reassured me that he just forgot to delete it, and that he wasn't using it. I was skeptical, but said okay. A few days later, I created a catfish account and messaged him, and he responded. We had a few days of conversation before we agreed to go out on a date. I was on my way to the date, and I called him, asking him what he was up to. He claimed he was going to grab lunch with his friends, and he'd talk to me after he got home. I arrived to the cafe before he did, and sat myself out of view from the door. He went up to the register, paid for his drink, turned around, and saw me. He looked like he shat his pants. What are you doing here? God, his voice was so high-pitched. I wanted to surprise you, honey. Surprise. Why don't you sit down with me? I forgot something in my car. He makes his way quickly to the door, and started to bolt towards his car. Where are you going, babe? You're going to miss out on your date. He freezes. Girl, he tried to play the whole thing off. He claimed he knew it was me, that he was only on the app for friends, blah blah blah. Ultimately, you're going to have to call it quits. My advice to you is to make sure you make as much a fool out of him that he tried to do to you.
Plan a date, dress to the nines, and serve him divorce papers.
Do 53 yo men successfully get ass from Tinder? Does your husband look like George Clooney?
Ask him to meet up on the Tinder app. When he replies sure, and when and where, arrange a time and place, and then show up with divorce papers edited to add. Make sure you have his stuff packed and ready to go. If he and you really think on if you want it or not, though, want to make things work, he has to get into therapy and deal with his shit. He has to earn your trust back. If he wants to make it work, he needs to start from square one.
Why don't you consult a lawyer before you confront him? Best case scenario, you paid a small fee for a peace of mind. Worst case scenario, you make sure you are protected.
I know this probably isn't the answer you want, but you just need to be upfront and tell him you know. If you're afraid of a violent reaction, your plan might need to be different. But if you're willing to face what might come from this, then you just gotta be honest.
Set up a date between him and your catfish profile. Then show up.